Welcome to Discover Barnstable, the official podcast of the Town of Barnstable, a podcast where you can meet the people who steward the programs and services for the Town of Barnstable that connects us to our quality of life. We invite you to join the conversation as we navigate municipal government and our community pathways to help you discover Barnstable. I'm Lynne Poyant, and today I am joined by my fellow co-host and tour guide, Paula Hersey. Hi, Paula.
Hello, Lynn.
As we explore this week's topic of discussion, elections, and we have our frequent guest, Town Clerk Ann Quirk. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
We're very glad to have you here.
Glad you could actually make the time. We know how busy election time is for you, and there's been a number of changes over the past year, legislative, as well as some things that were during the pandemic that are now in place forever, it seems like. So thank you for joining us. But let's start with a little primer for folks. There's multiple types of elections, primary versus general election. What's the difference?
Oh, that's a great question. A primary election is held so that the actual state election ballot can be developed from the state primary election. The primary, you have to choose the ballot that you wish to vote on. So in this case, for this year, it's just two ballots. It's Democrat or Republican. And if you are unenrolled, you must tell us which ballot you want to vote on. And by the results of that election from all over Massachusetts, that's how we build that's how the state builds the state election ballot for November.
So just to back up just a little bit, that folks who are unenrolled, perhaps they're not really understanding that term. What's another term for that people would more identify with?
People like to say they're independent, which is what they are, but there is no independent party in the state of Massachusetts. So unenrolled is where we have all those folks, or no party.
Okay, and they have to choose their ballots for all of the types of voting that we have, mail-in or early voting or in-person voting. They have to choose their ballot in all three of those cases, correct?
Absolutely.
And Paula just said some words, early voting. And we have by mail versus in-person early voting. What is the difference?
It's the same ballot. It's just that you are literally sitting at home, sending us information that requesting a ballot be sent to your home, and we send it out, and you fill it out, and you send it back to us. The state is paying for the ballot to come back to us, so you don't even have to put postage on it. So you can choose to do that, or if you want to do early voting in person, you can come to Town Hall.
So early voting happens in all of our elections, and people can find that information where on the website?
Under Town Clerk, Elections Information, and I have a nice little graph in there for everyone to be able to see it. And it's already in there for the state election in November because we have 2 weeks of early voting in person then.
Okay. Helpful hints to voting early, either with a mail-in ballot or a in-person. Is there like the do's and don'ts, the tips and tricks that you kind of want to impart to, number one, make sure that their vote gets here on time, and two, to make sure that they understand the procedures of those that, when you're mailing in your vote, is there a timestamp on your vote when it gets to town clerk? Are there any things that you want to make sure that the voters know? And this pertains to all of our elections, that early voting and mail-in voting are available.
Yes, they are. Let me just say that on a local election, we get the choice of whether we do early voting by mail or not, because it costs the town a lot of money to send those ballots out. And it's taxpayer money. But as far as early voting in person, yes, we'll do that for a local election as well. This year, we have received many cards from folks that forgot to tell us what ballot they wanted. We tried to get in touch with them, but that wasn't always feasible. I had probably over 500 cards that didn't indicate what ballot they wanted. The other thing is that when you send your ballot back, please, before you send it out, make sure you sign the ballot envelope, because I can't accept it without a signature. And that's true of the cards that came in. All of the folks that sent us cards but didn't sign them, I did send them all a letter that said, I can't accept it without a signature, so please sign this and send it back to me. Those are the things they have to remember, because it just slows the process. You're waiting at home for that ballot and you can't understand why you haven't gotten it, and I don't have a phone number to call you, or I've called and left messages, or it's just, if you could do all that would really make it go quickly.
Excellent.
And there have been a lot of people helping you out during these past times, as there were a couple of years ago, because it truly takes a village or 7 villages to make an election process keep its integrity and the safety of everyone's vote.
Absolutely. It's incredible the amount of work that this entails. And unless you sit with us and go through it, you couldn't understand everything that it goes through. Every time we get one of those cards, it's at least 12 steps before we even have your ballot in hand. So it's a lot of administrative work, which requires a lot of people. It just can't be done by the office staff. And my office staff is waiting on the people coming in the door, and people who need birth records, and people who want to do businesses. It's just there's so much going on.
And the recent federal 2020 census has resulted in redistricting of some precincts. Did it affect any of the polling station? Are there any changes for some of the polling stations?
The polling stations are still the same polling stations, but you may have, your street might be one of the streets that did kind of move into a different precinct. We did send out information. It's on the website. We've done podcasts on it, and we've done a lot of work to try and make sure that everyone just checks their polling location, and it's a simple process. We wish that everyone had done it. If they didn't want to do it online, call us. We'll tell you where your precinct is. And we're answering those questions all day long. So it's obviously getting out there that people should check in with us, which is great.
Right. There's so much that goes on from, like I said, we have mail-in, we have early, we have day of, we have check your voter registration, where's my polling station. We've already talked about the town website, but one of the resources that we have found also has been incredibly helpful for a one-stop, how do I do this with my ballot, or how do I vote, is the Secretary of State's website. Can you give us a little indication of what that website will have for information and how people might be able to utilize it?
That is a great resource, and we're tied into it. So we have the link on our website. It's www.sec.state.ma.us. It's really simple. It's on our website. If you just Google Secretary of State, Massachusetts, it'll pop up. And that page, the first page that pops up, is all about voting and elections. And you click on the icons, and it will take you right to what you need, whether it's I want to vote by mail, I want to know where my polling location, it's all there. And it's really, really simplified for everyone.
Right. Are there any, can I just ask, are there any intricacies about using that website when you're looking for your own information?
Oh, good question. And I forgot about that. We have sub-villages here in the town of Barnstable. One of them is Cummaquid. Cummaquid is not really a post office in the sense that the mail isn't delivered from that post office. It's delivered into the boxes that people have that are within Cumberquid. So the state does not recognize the Cumberquid zip code as a true zip code. It looks towards Barnstable, it looks towards Hyannis, it looks towards Osterville, but it doesn't pick that up. So if you put in your name and your address and you put the Cumberquid zip code, you're not going to come up because it doesn't know what that is. I don't know how else to explain it other than like the Barnstable post office in the village, it takes mail in, it delivers mail to the door, you have post office boxes, but you have the whole thing. Where Cumberquid, there's West Hyannisport is another one. If only if you have a box is that a viable post office for you. But it also is not recognized through the Secretary of State's office. So there, all the sub villages don't really have.
So the best thing that somebody can do is to call.
Yes, 508-862-4044, and we will answer you at the town clerk's office.
But now we get to the fun part of the podcast, right? Yeah. Way fun. Rapid fire question. We only need like a sentence or one word answer. Are you ready, Ann?
I don't know if I can do that.
I bet. I bet you could. What's your favorite time of the day?
4:30.
AM or PM?
PM.
What was your first concert?
Oh my gosh, you're going way back now. Is that in school or out of school?
Either.
I can't remember. My brain is just frazzled at the moment. I really can't remember.
Can't remember. Okay. We'll go to the last one. What's your favorite place in Barnstable?
Oh, gosh. Well, where my home is, obviously. But I really love the area where we are. And I like the harbor and all the little shanties and being able to walk around. And I'm a beach freak, too. So, yeah, I love it all. We live in paradise.
We do. We're really blessed. Well, thank you, Ann, for joining us. We're really glad that you were able to make some time out of your incredibly busy schedule. And we want to thank our audience for listening to Discover Barnstable, the official podcast of the Town of Barnstable. We hope that you found a new understanding of how your municipal government works to protect, engage, and enact for you in our community. Be sure to drop us a line at podcast@town.barnstable.ma.us and let us know what you would like to learn next. Till next time, go discover Barnstable.